Yeah. Good morning, Neha. Good morning, Ritik. Good morning, Jyoti. All of you are very welcome in the class. तो क्लास शुरू करने से पहले before starting the class, let me tell you one thing. In your preparation, in your civil service preparation, you would find that many a times you would get some setbacks. Setbacks, I would call it some obstacles, or you can say a temporary pause in your preparation. Maybe because of some festivals like Diwali, you may not able to read during Diwali. Maybe because of a birthday celebration. Maybe because of your cousin or any relative marriage, or some guest may come at your home. Maybe some friend may come to meet you. So your preparation may get a temporary pause, maybe for 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hours, maybe a full day, or even a full week. And even there may be a possibility that there could be a full month in which you are not able to study. So think you need to remember this. This happens to everybody. Okay. This happens to everybody. The point is how quickly you bounce back. How quickly you get return to your schedule. Suppose you have wasted 2 hours. Suppose you have watched a movie and you have wasted 2 hours, and you start thinking that I have wasted my money, I have wasted my time, I am not giving my best. So the guilt would come in your mind that you are not doing justice to your preparation. Never ever have this guilt. Okay. If you want to have guilt, have it in a small amount, like to motivate you to start study at least now. अगर आपने 2 घंटे वेस्ट कर दिए हैं, if you have wasted 2 hours, don't get worried, start now. अगर आप if you are not able to read for last few days during these festive days of Dhanteras, Diwali, etc., then start now. Just return to your study schedule. Okay. तो जितनी आप जल्दी आओगे वापस, the better would be for you. Okay. So now let us start our discussion. First is there is a petition in judiciary for declaring ecological sensitive area as unconstitutional. Why? We would come into later. First, we understand the concept. This ecological sensitive area is also known as ecological fragile areas or eco-sensitive zones. These areas are located within 10 km of protected areas, that is national parks and wildlife sanctuary. You must have read your environment or geography books. These national parks and wildlife sanctuary areas are well protected from any kind of development activities or any kind of human encroachment in the name of agriculture or stubble burning, etc. But the area around them are not well protected. This leave this leave a loophole to be exploited by mining industry, by forestry, by agriculturists, etc. So they start exploiting this 10-kilometer area, and which directly or indirectly affect this core area also, and also the whole ecosystem. That is why this concept of ecological sensitive area has been brought in. And how much area would be included surrounding the national parks and wildlife, that would be decided by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And this is prescribed under Environmental Protection Act 1986. And this ecological sensitive area we always read in the specifically in the context of Western Ghats. This is the region of Western Ghats. You must have read in your geography books. So this region is very well forested, very well forested. The forest area is quite huge. It is quite rich in biodiversity also. That is why it is known as one of the biodiversity hotspots of the world. And it is also the World Heritage Site. So its protection and conservation is quite important. That is why this concept has been bring so that to minimize the negative impact on this fragile ecosystem. And for see, this concept has been brought in by Western Ghats Ecological Expert Panel, better known as Gadgil Committee and Kasturi Ranjan Committee. First, their both objective was to conserve, to give recommendations to conserve and protect the biodiversity of Western Ghats and ensure sustainable and inclusive development, and to identify those areas which would be put under the preview of ecological sensitive area in the six states of Kerala, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu. Basically, the Western Ghats basically occupy this region. So, out of this region, which area would come under ecological sensitive area, that would be the job of these panels. First, we read about Gadgil Committee. This committee established first, then Kasturi Ranjan Committee was established. First, this committee was established. And it has said that all of the Western Ghats should be included in ecological sensitive area. And development activities like mining, industry, plantation, agriculture, etc. would be allowed in graded zones. And these zones are divided into ecological sensitive area 1, ecological sensitive area 2, ecological sensitive area 3. In ecological sensitive area, this is called as high priority zone. Here all kind of development activities are banned. All are banned. In ecological sensitive area 2, the existing developing activities would be allowed, but no new activity would be allowed. Existing development activity would be allowed. Suppose there is thermal power plant already established in this area, that would be allowed to run, but no new thermal power plant would be established in ecological sensitive area 2 as per this committee. In ecological sensitive area 3, Gadgil committee recommended that you can permit new development activities but with permissions and regulations. You need to take ministry's permissions, and also your ministry would specify certain guidelines, rules, regulation, etc., which would ensure that these development activities does not cause big harm to environment. It also recommended Western Ghats Ecological Authority, which would be a statutory authority, that is it would be given powers by a law. And this authority would be under Ministry of Forest and Climate Change, and it would get powers under Section 3 of Environmental Protection Act 1986. And what is the criticism of this committee? First, it is too environmental friendly, too much environmental friendly. It is not in tune with ground realities. Its recommendations were impractical. Very difficult to implement. Too much importance is given to environment rather than to development. He just forgot the word in sustainable development word. He forgot the word development, only keep the word sustainable in his mind while framing the recommendation. But there is some catch in it. When Gadgil committee gave recommendations, Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change does not make it public for 8 months. Does not make it public for 8 months. It's just keep it in its stores and even refuse to disclose it under RTI. Delhi High Court has ordered it, still it does not disclose it. Then finally the matter goes to Supreme Court, and Environmental Ministry has then on the Supreme Court order released the Gadgil committee report. Why? Why it was hesitant to release the full report of Gadgil committee? Because Gadgil committee recommendation would give a death blow to sand mafias, to mining mafias, to timber mafias, who are operating illegally in this region and who have strong linkage with politicians, and they would lose all their revenue rights, privileges, etc., because if this committee recommendation get implemented. And what these sand mafia, mining mafia start doing, they start doing instigating the farmers that these committees are anti-farm, recommendations are anti-farmer, you would lose your land if this committee is recommendations being implemented, you would thrown out of your villages, etc., because all the area would be declared as protected and you would not be allowed any agriculture, plantation, etc. So this committee's recommendation were too harsh, as seemingly seen. So that's why Kasturi Ranjan Committee was established. It was basically established to review the Gadgil Committee recommendations. And this committee give recommendation balancing the development and environmental protection. And its recommendation that only 37% area of Western Ghats would be declared as ecological sensitive area. And it has said that in this area there would be complete ban on mining, etc. And in this area no new thermal power projects would be allowed, and red industry, that are the highly polluting industry like of paper industry, textile industry, etc., would be banned. And hydro project power only be allowed after the detailed study. Why hydropower projects were allowed? Because there were 2-3 projects in Kerala which were in quite construction stage, and Gadgil committee has said that these projects should be stopped altogether. But Kasturi Ranjan committee said they should be allowed only after the detailed study, whether they are causing real harm to the environment or not. Then it says already inhabited region, that is village settlements, town, etc., and plantation would be excluded from the preview of ecological sensitive areas, that is basically addressing the concerns of farmers. Now coming to the latest issue, why these committees are back in news, why this concept of ecological sensitive area is back in news. Because Kerala based NGOs for farmers has moved Supreme Court to declare the draft notification of Western Ghats ecological sensitive area as unconstitutional. They want that Kasturi Ranjan or Madhav Gadgil committee report should not be implemented. Why? Why? Because they have said that 123 agriculture villages in area would come under ESA, and these agriculturists would be thrown out of their place. And and they, this notification has wrongly converted these semi-urban villages into forest. They are not forest, they are already a human settlement. There is already buildings, crops, etc., being built up there. So they are not forest. How you can include them into forest? So this would affect 22 lakh people and it would cripple the economy of Kerala. That's why they want this notification to be withdrawn. And they are also saying that center has branded people who are residing in the Western Ghats as destroyer of biodiversity and agents of ecological damage. They are having a hostile view regarding the natives who are living in this region. All the people are considered as bad and harmful or dangerous for environment. And they said this ecological sensitive area should be restricted to reserve forest and protected area. Basically, the surrounding area of wildlife sanctuary and protected area that we were talking about should be included in ecological sensitive area. This NGO is saying this should not be included in the protected area at all. There should be no concept of ECA at all. Okay. So what should be the way forward? It is basically the debate of how development and conservation of environment should proceed. How development and conservation of development should proceed. So basically we need sustainable development. It is easier said than done. In books, in discussion, it is easier to say that we need to proceed on sustainable development, but when it is going to be actually implemented, then we face the problems. For this, we need proper analysis based on the scientific studies, specifically environmental studies. which specific activities we need to regulate it, which specific activities we need to ban, and at what area, at how the existing people would be resettled, rehabilitated, etc. The whole comprehensive approach we need to take up. And we need to establish consensus among stakeholders, whether it is thermal power plant owners, the sand mining owners, the farmers, the plantation workers, the plantation owners, etc. And we need to negotiate with them, we need to talk with them so that their concerns or their interests which are going to be affected should be resolved. They should be properly, once again I'm talking about rehabilitation, and that should be done in a timely manner. Otherwise they would not be satisfied to for transition to new occupation or new jobs, etc. So now this is the first prelims question of the day. Kindly answer it, and let me see your comments. Yeah. So good morning, Janya. Good morning, Rachna. Good morning, Jannat, Mohit, and Neelam. Very good morning to all of you. And I am glad you come for the class. I thought after Diwali nobody would come in this class in today's class. All would be like celebrating Diwali today also. So I'm glad that you have come, and I wish you very good luck for your studies. Please answer. Yes, Ashok is saying D, Neha is saying D. Yeah, good morning, Mupinder. So answer is D. Okay. Yeah, Jannat D. So now coming to the next topic. See, you have you must have heard about that Donald Trump has losing the election and Joe Biden is the next US president elect. Now, how the US economy and its policy would affect India? How Joe Biden policy would affect India? This we are going to discuss. I think that is very easy topic. We will little bit do it faster. But the point why this topic has been chosen to make you point, to make you clear what are the irritants. What are the irritants in the US India relations? And these irritants especially come during the Donald Trump tenure. That summary you should be kept in mind whenever you read US India relationship. So first, there is a very beautiful quote: in a democracy, who fails to get elected always console himself with the that there is something not quite fair about it. So in India, whenever opposition lose, they would blame EVM. Similarly, Trump lose, he blamed the whole election system of America. So that happens, even that happens in UPSC also. Those who are not able to make in the list, they would always criticize the UPSC selection mechanism. But those who get into the list, they always have the praise. So coming to the significance of the US, so we are discussing the significance of US in economy. How US economy is important for us. First, India has a trade surplus with USA, that too over the past 20 years. In 2001 2, we have the trade surplus of $5.2 billion. What do I mean by trade surplus? It means our exports are greater than imports. Our exports to USA are greater than imports. And 2001 we have the surplus of $5.2 billion, and 2019-20 we have $17.3 billion. Despite the all stringent efforts of Trump that it wants to reverse this situation where US exports would be greater than USA imports to India, despite all his efforts, he is not able to do so because of inherent competitiveness of Indian economy vis-a-vis USA. And India accounts for 5% of USA global service import, that is worth of $30 billion around. So Wipro, TCS, etc. all are working in USA. And investment, US is the fifth biggest source for FDI for India. Microsoft, McDonald's, KFC, all are investing in India. And this is the genuine investor. It is not like round tripping is happening. Round tripping means, suppose Vodafone is a UK company. Vodafone is a UK company. It would not come directly to India. It would go through round tripping, means it would take a trip or tour of Mauritius. Here it would establish its company. It from Mauritius it would invest in India. Why? Because Mauritius has 0% tax rate. It would not have to give any tax. That's why it would establish its company in Mauritius and then would invest in India. That is known as round tripping. So investment coming from Mauritius is not genuine. It is not genuine because in Mauritius uh, the companies are not of Mauritius origin. They are of other countries origin like Japan, Germany, France, UK, USA, etc. But USA is the fifth largest FDI source and it is the genuine investor. And one third of all foreign portfolio investment is amounted to 11 lakh crore per annum we received from USA. What does it mean? Foreign portfolio investment is in what? Share markets. In share markets, all you know that daily there is price fluctuation. Morning price would increase, evening price would decrease. But in this increase and decrease, there is profit. There is profits. You must have, I think, watched the trailer of Harshad Mehta. How much wealth you can generate from this speculative profit. Satta Bajari. You never know. So these portfolio investors do investment because they want to earn huge money from Indian stock market. So coming to the yes, Ritik, shale company. So now coming the US policies affecting India on train. I would go a little bit faster here because it is very simple topic. Biden administration, it would go for rule based order rather for protectionist approach because protectionist approach means you are just suspectical or suspicious of other countries trade with you. You start doing that, we would produce our own goods and we would consume our own goods. We would neither import neither export. This is what the policy of Trump. He would not favor it. It would favor globalization. And also it would consider that India would get inclusion under generalized system of preference. Generalized system preference, very simple. USA give like tariff concessions. Tariff concession, like suppose from Germany, suppose automobile spare part is imported, here 18% tariff is imposed, but from India same automobile spare part is imported, then 5% tax would be charged. So this is tariff concession given under generalized system of preference that it would recommend to include India under it. So in a nutshell, Indian exports would increase. On H1B visa, that is basically we have discussed in previous class also, this is visa for the migrants going from India to USA. Here also Trump see with suspicion the immigrants because of his America First policy. So here Biden may take a lenient view. He may allow Indian workers to go for America. And their existing issues of data localization, capping prices of medicine and medical devices, etc. Here also Biden would take a pragmatic view because we have, I think, do I need to explain these points? See, let me give you brief. RBI has make mandatory that MasterCard, Visa, etc. These American companies has to store their financial data in India itself. Similarly, ministry has made certain medicine and medical devices like knee implants and this stents, this cardiovascular stents, which is put in blood artery so that blood flow could be smooth. These on these medical devices there is upper limit on prices. Prices cannot go beyond this upper limit. So this limit is disturbing the profits of American manufacturers. That's why they were resisting this decision of our ministry. So on this also Biden may take a pragmatic view. And most importantly, US section on Iran may get dropped. Even Iran president has said to John Biden, come back to the nuclear deal. So we would get the regular supply of cheap oil. Then there would be climate change. The most worst the tragedy happens in the last century was American withdrawal from Paris Agreement. Now Biden is highly expected to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, and we would able to get technical and financial help from USA to meet our Paris Climate Accord targets. But on democracy, on human rights, on democratic rights, on civil liberties, we may face scrutiny from Democrats, like issue of Kashmir, issue of minorities, etc., issue of CA, NRC, or else we would may face a rebuke from Biden administration, just like Obama when he comes in 2016 to India on Republic Day. He has rebuked Modi government in one of the press conference about minorities treatment in India. So similar may happen in Biden administration. But one thing you should remember that there is in media circles there is growing claim that Biden would not help us in Pakistan issue. Biden may not help in China issue. Biden may not help us on Kashmir issue. Biden may not help us on Galwan Valley issue. All these are rubbish. Why? Because India enjoys bipartisan support in USA. Bipartisan support means both Republicans and Democrats support India. And these talk would happen that Democrats would criticize India's action, etc., etc. But there would be no concrete action upon it. There would be no concrete action upon it. Why? Because the Democrats also knew that the USA interest lies in India's cooperation, India's prosperity, India's progress, India's security, India's stability in order to counter China. And they also take very pragmatic view that there is no point in letting down Indian side. So they would just do the talk for their domestic political purpose to appease their vote bank. But they would never walk the talk because they knew that American interest would get hampered if they let down India in the region. Okay, yeah. So coming to the next topic, Union government has finalized National Nursing and Midwifery Commission Bill 2020 to replace the Indian Nursing Council Act 1947. So what is the current situation? Various undergraduate nursing examinations are conducted by different medical institutes. Like Rajendra Hospital in Patiala would held its own nursing examination for admission into undergraduate courses of nursing. Similarly, AIMS would conduct its own examination. Similarly, other institute would hold its own examination. But now, Cabinet is proposing that this nursing council will be replaced with National Nursing and Midwifery Commission. What is the purpose of this commission? See, first it would have representatives of both center and states. So on the lines of GST Council, where both center and state member get together and take the collective decision. And this decision is uniform throughout the country. So one single decision is being implemented throughout the country. So there is like variation in the earlier case, there were variation in the decision, like Punjab government may take separate decision, Kerala government would take its own decision, etc. Now this variation would not be there. One single homogeneous uniform decision would be applied for whole country. And this policy would be prepared by this commission, and it would regulate standards for the governance of nursing and midwifery education and institutions, like how many beds should be there, how the training would be done, how teaching would be done, what should be the electricity, what how computers would be done, how medical devices would be done. These kind of standards it would specify. And it would specify standards for nursing and midwifery faculty, like they need to hold a degree or diploma, etc. In what grade they should get this degree, like 60% marks, 70% marks. These kind of regulation they would make. And they would make instructional they would make regulations for education, instruction faculties, training, research, and maximum tuition fees payable. And also they would devise code of professional ethics, just like we have code of professional ethics in the case of lawyers, in the case of doctors, architects, etc. Similarly for nurses, we would have this code of professional ethics. And also they would rate different institutions of nursing, like A grade, B grade, C grade, etc. would be given depending on the quality of education they are giving. And there are other proposals also, like on the lines of IIT, JEE or NEET, etc. There would be common entrance test for undergraduate nursing courses, and there would be on the lines of next exam of doctors. Similarly, next exam for nursing also would be there, so that uniform quality of education is maintained throughout the country. And every nurse and midwife need to register with the state boards, and they would decide. State would also be given the power to decide course structure, fees, etc. And there would be national register where all qualified and practicing nursing professionals information would be there, so that government can track these nurses whenever any mishap or any misbehavior or any you can say limit any low quality service if they offer which harm public interest, action could be taken. And there would be temporary license for foreign qualified nurses and midwives to practice in India. So basically, on the lines of National Commission or for doctors, we have just National Medical Commission. We have discussed in previous classes. On the same lines, we would have the National Commission for Nursing and Midwives. Single test for admission in undergraduate nursing courses. Yes, single test, like on the lines of IIT, JEE, or you can say NEET, etc. Similarly, one single admission test would be there, and on the basis of ranking, you would get the admission in the different colleges across the country. There would be one single test. Okay. So now, this is the prelims question for you. Kindly answer. Let me see what is the next topic so that I give you the brief about that. Yeah. Just answer it. Yeah, good morning, Pankaj. Okay. Hari, Ashok, Abiral, Pankaj, Kumar, Rahul, all are saying B. Yes, answer is B. Answer is B. Answer is B. So now coming to the next topic. See, you may have heard news about NGT has banned sale and use of firecrackers during Diwali in NCR region. And you may have heard various courts like Odisha Court, Rajasthan Court, Sikkim, Chandigarh, Delhi Pollution Control Body, Kolkata High Court has already banned the firecrackers. In Haryana, only for 2 hours crackers were allowed to be burst. In Telangana, also 2 hours, for 2 hours crackers were allowed, etc. So basically, this is the question of celebrating the festival with crackers or harm to the environment. So what NGT observed that we should have a graded response. Like those regions which have high pollution, there should be absolute ban. Which have moderate region, we could have like regulation of 2 to 3 hours of firecrackers bursting. And for those regions which have clear air, there whole you can burst the crackers whole night. Okay, and this order of NGT it said would be applicable for Delhi, like there would be absolute ban. And NGT says if the pollution continues in Christmas and New Year, then this ban would also apply on Christmas and New Year. Why Christmas and New Year? Because there are certain right-wing organization which said it is these kind of Deepavali firecracking ban order is meant for only Hindu festivals. All the environmental activists go silent when there is Christian festival of Christmas or New Year. Then they go silent, but they become very vocal during Diwali. But that's why NGD also included Christmas and New Year. And also in Christmas and New Year, there is also quite large scale bursting of crackers. So one thing you should remember, basically the enemy is not the celebration of Diwali. Enemy is the bursting of enemy is also not the bursting of crackers. Enemy is the air pollution. You should know that what is the real issue. Real issue is the air pollution. During Diwali, because of stubble burning, because of wind circulation, because of winters, such condition got such situation become in Delhi where pollution is so high, so dense, so continuous that it become very difficult to even breathe. That is why firecrackers banning become important. And now coming to the reasons of NGT. First, this already many states has banned it or regulated it. Second, NGT has given primacy to precautionary principle. Precautionary principle of sustainable development over employment and revenue losses. This firecracking busting would surely harm the employment of numerous people. It would give a revenue loss to industry, revenue loss to government also, because they would lose the tax revenue. But sustainable development is quite important, because I've told you this, because of farm stubble, low temperature, atmospheric circulation, etc. Air is highly polluted, and there is also huge COVID-19 cases, especially in Delhi. Delhi, we are getting third wave of COVID cases surge. That is why we need to be cautious not to make the situation worst. And also there is health and productivity cost. The people who are already suffering from asthma, etc., they would find very difficult to sustain or survive in this condition. And also because of pollution, people's productivities are decreasing. They are not able to work properly. They are working below their potential. So now what is the solutions? Yes, in live chat, give the solutions for this fire crackers bursting issue. Yes, please give the solutions. 2 3 solutions I would give to you, and 2 3 solution you would give it to me. So write it in live chat. In see, first government should be made accountable. Why? Because we do have the right to clean air. The right to see cleaning of air is the lowest priority of government. It do focus on infrastructure. It do focus on uh, focus on sanitation, on industries, on agriculture, etc. But it never focus on cleaning the air. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan we have launched to clean the surface. Similarly, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan we need required for cleaning the air. And for this we need National Clean Air Program effective implementation, because it wants to reduce 20 to 30% air pollutants by 2024. If we achieve at least this target, then also we are going to have a very clean air. So we need to implement this scheme very properly. And for Tamil Nadu, where 90% of firecrackers are produced, specifically the Sivakasi region, there we need compensation scheme for workers. They need to be reskilled. They need to be rehabilitated in other sectors. And also the industry need to be provided some relief so that they can switch to new kind of product manufacturing. And also broad basing of economic activity in Sivakasi is required, so that their employment issue does not become a hindrance in implementing banning of firecrackers. Then third solution is green crackers and e-crackers. This has been developed by Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Three crackers it has developed: safe water releaser, safe minimal aluminium, and safe thermal cracker, known by the acronyms SWAS, SUFFLE, and STAR. And these crackers do emit air pollutants, do emit. It also emit air pollution, but it is considerably less than the previous generation firecrackers, because it reduced the air pollution by 30%. By 30% it reduced the air pollution. So let me see your comments. Few comments have become. Smoke tower, yes, that could be one solution. If government want to limit firecrackers, then it should be beside their production, lesson would be burning. That is basically generally we have discussed in Sivakasi rehabilitation idea. Instead of complete tab on cracker, there should be eco-friendly cracker. That also we have discussed, Ritik. No new suggestion. Community participation and awareness program. Yes, that could be the option. That could be one of the option. Because see, we should aim for bottom up approach rather top down approach. When Supreme Court banned the crackers, it is top down approach. People may not accept it, especially दिल्ली वाला. अगर दिल्ली वालों को बोलोगे कि ये नहीं करना तो पक्का करेंगे. तो तो इसीलिए हमें बॉटम अप अप्रोच की जरूरत है, सो दैट पीपल themselves have aversion toward cracking of firecrackers. They themselves get awakened that it is not worthy to celebrate with crackers. You can celebrate the festival even without the crackers. Tax cracker by 1000% so that people will not buy more. 1000% is quite radical figure. You can quote like 100% tax or maybe 200% tax, but 1000% is quite big tax rate. Chemical used for crackers should be replaced with few harmless chemicals. That is basically comes in green crackers. Again, green crackers would become. The taxing also would be a solution. So this is the interview question. Do you think air pollution would get serious political attention given our politics being preoccupied with caste and religion? Instead of individual buying crackers, society buying crackers and people in apartment can enjoy at the same time lies pollution. That is also quite a fair idea. Like just like we enjoy cricket, football, etc. just by watching it. Similarly, we can enjoy crackers, busting of crackers by watching it. One particular group of individual would burst the crackers and we would all celebrate it. That would also decrease the amount of pollution emitted by crackers. That is also an innovative idea. Yeah, that administration has to work with grassroots level like constable, etc. That would come under the awareness and awakening part. That awaken the people so that they can go door to door and do the awareness program. So coming to the Chabar project, little bit we have discussed in our previous classes also, but some new development has been coming. That's why it become important to rediscuss it. Or so basically, Chabar port is located on Gulf of Oman. It is just 72 kilometers away from Pakistan Gwadar port, which has been built by China, and it is only oceanic port of Iran. So it makes this port quite strategically important for Iran also. Iran also. Iran also is going to get huge access to world markets through this port. So it is not crucial for India but also crucial for Iran. And two separate ports, Shahid Beheshti and Shahid Kalantari, that is basically the factual data, that is not important. So in May 2016, we have also signed a trilateral agreement, that is between three countries, India, Iran and Afghanistan. And it is basically transit and transport corridor, basically roads, railways, etc. would be built from Chahabar port, so that from Chahabar port goods could be easily traveled up to Afghanistan. Why? Because see, we can reach Afghanistan through Pakistan. We can easily reach Central Asia through Pakistan. But Pakistan is denying access to Central Asia and Afghanistan to India. That is why we need to build an alternative route through Afghanistan. So that from sea, we reach first to this port, Chahabar port, and then from this we would reach to Afghanistan and to Central Asia and also to Russia. Not only Russia but also to whole Europe. Why Gwadar has been built? See, China is also importing oil from here. So from Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen, etc., it can easily source its oil from this, and through this CPEC corridor, it can easily transport to mainland China. That is why China has built this Gwadar port. And also it is near to India, so it would also help in strategic military encirclement of India. Okay. So now coming to the significance, we would get access to Central Asian countries, so we would able to trade it. Security, China Belt and Road Initiative Gwadar Port, it is act as a counter to Chinese Gwadar Port. So if China think we have just seated at the mouthpiece of India, so India is also saying I am also near to, I can also launch attacks on your Gwadar Port in case you disturb my interests. and it would offer connectivity with international north-south transport corridor and connectivity with Russia and Russia. We have already discussed. Now coming, uh, what happened in July 2020? Now coming to the latest developments. Okay, so in July 2020, Iran decided that it would go with the rail line construction on its own. Rail line construction, what I'm talking about, this. Let me show you. I have talked to you that with between this is Afghanistan, this is Chabar port. Okay, so here a rail line and a road would be built. So this rail, Iran said, I would build my own. I do not need your spot. I would build my own because Iran says, India, you are delaying the funding and construction of this project. And what is India's stand? India is saying that our organization, Indian Railway Corporation, has completed site inspection, feasibility report, etc. We are waiting from Iranian side to point of one particular body which would be responsible for construction of this road. But actual reason is USA section. Despite this project has special waiver from USA. Special waiver means exemption from sections. If India proceed on this project, USA would not impose sections. Why? Because USA also knows this project, this Chhabar project may be helpful for USA in future. How? Suppose Pakistan denied access to USA troops. Then through Chhabar port, USA troops could be withdrawn from Afghanistan. That is why USA is also interested in Chhabar project. Also, it acts as counter to Gwadar port of China. That is why USA also supportive of this project. That is why it has given the special waiver. But India still hesitant because there is construction company which has link with Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That is basically the SPG of Iran. SPG means Special Protection Group. Just like we have the Special Protection Group for security of PM. Similarly, this Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps protect the chief political religious leader of Iran, that is Ayatollah Khomeini. So this organization has been termed as terrorist organization by Trump. So anyone who is dealing with this organization would face sanctions, and India has fear that our economy may face US sanction because of one construction company engaged in this railroad line construction with this military organization. Also, there is some issue the India has regarding 25-year strategic cooperation agreement between Iran and China. China said, I would invest worth of $400 billion into Iran and I would build other parts of Chabar port which India is not building. I would establish free trade zone with Makran coast, basically the coast in which Chabar port is located. I would build oil infrastructure projects. I would build strategic ties with Iran. So basically, what we want Iran as our ally, just like China has Pakistan as its ally. Similarly, we want Iran as our ally. But China is saying, I want to make both Iran and Pakistan as my allies. So the strategic advantage that what we have regarding Chabar project may lose because of Chinese involvement. And recently, Iran Port and Maritime Organization made a request to India for locomotives, that is trains, and signaling equipment for Chabar Jaidan railway line. That is the railway line we were talking about between Iran and Afghanistan. And also wants that India should activate 150 million credit line it has offered to Iranian president in 2018, because Iran is facing difficulty in procuring these kind of equipments and money because of sanction by USA. So it is now saying to India, come and build this project. Now one new topic, Farjat B gas field. It is located in Persian Gulf, Iran. Let me see you in the map. This is here, it is located. So this we would build this Shabar port from this gas exploration. We want this gas exploration rights, so that gas could be taken to Chabar port, and from this Chabar port we can take the oil or gas back to India at Kandala port of Mumbai. So it would ensure energy security to us. So this exploration was done by ONGC in 2002, but the exploration contract expired in 2009 because commerciality of this project was well defined. So now it was time for the auction. It was now time for extraction. Exploration has been done, so extraction should be started. But extraction has not been started. Why? Because of dispute over money to be quoted on this plan. Iran was asking for higher money, and we were talking about lesser money to be given to Iran. And 70% of the deal was finalized till May 2018, but Trump came, imposed the sanctions, withdraw from the nuclear deal, and this contract goes into the cold shoulder. So in January 2020, Iran is saying, I would develop the field on my own. I would start extracting oil and gas my own. You can come in after you get the permission from USA. So what is the way forward? We need to do a balancing act with USA and Iran. Both are very crucial for us. Both are strategic partners to us. So, so we need to balance it both, because we cannot confine to South Asia. And we cannot say that we are just the leader of South Asian region, that we are leader of Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, etc. We should need to increase our sphere of influence beyond South Asia. And for that, we need strong relationship with Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iran, etc. So now coming to the prelims question, and next topic is CCI to probe Google. Yes, ban can never be the solution. Administration, yeah, I think I have talked about naval. Yeah, naval presence. You're talking about in which context, Aviral? Neelam Malik, Kandla, Chabar, Jaidan, Iran, and Jaran. Yes. See, basically Kandla is in Mumbai. From there, Chabar. From there, we have this Jaidan, Jaranj, Dilaram, this Jaranj, Dilaram, and Jaidan transport corridor. This is actually the name of that transport and transit corridor. Here, rail and road link would be established. I do not name it because I do not want to make analysis little bit complex. I want to make it simple. Ashok is saying B. All of you are saying B. Aviral, Neha, Mohit, Jyoti, Ritik, Jannat. Yes, answer is B. So now coming to the next topic, that is CCI to probe Google. Why it wants to probe Google? Because Google is using its dominant position in market for Google Pay. What is the issue? We would come into later. First, we understand what is this CCI, or Competition Commission of India. See, this act has been passed, Competition Act in 2002. It has replaced Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969. See, this act, MRTP Act, this was made in socialistic era, where private business was looked with suspicion. They just have a fear that private sector would monopolize that particular business sector, and they would start earning huge profits and exploiting the citizens or consumers. So that's why these monopolies and restrictive trade practices were passed. This act was passed in capitalist era, that is after 1991 reforms, where private sector were allowed to operate. The telecom service, the bus service, the car service, etc. would be provided to you by the private sector. The objective of this act is to ensure competition, because this capitalism or this market economy function well till then there is competition. If there is competition in market, capitalism is a boon. If there is no competition in market, then it is bane. If there is monopoly, if there is private sector monopoly in the market, then there would be bane for the masses. If there is competition, then it is boon. When there is competition between Jio, Airtel, Idea, etc., then you are going to benefit by lower prices, better quality of service. But if there is only Jio monopoly, you are going to be exploited like a hell. So that is why this act promotes competition and prohibits anti-competitive agreements. For example, tomorrow Airtel, Idea, Vodafone, etc. make an agreement that we would make a merged entity, and there would be only two players in the telecom sector, Jio and Airtel, Vodafone, Idea combined. That is anti-competitive agreement because competition has been reduced to just two players. Has been reduced to just two players. So this act prohibits these kind of agreements. Then abuse of dominant position, like suppose 90% market. This you would understand in this topic itself. I would come to it later. It's regulate combinations. Combination is what? Mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures, etc. So whenever there are mergers like Vodafone of and Idea, you need to get CCI approval. CCI will check whether it is harmful to competition or not. Whether you want to purchase a new company, you have to take CCI approval. If you want to have joint ventures like a partnership between two companies, like Tata and Docomo has, like AirAsia has with Tata Group, these kind of joint ventures means partnership between companies. If you want to have, you have to take the competition commission approval. It wants to protect the interest of consumer, ensure freedom of trade in the market at very general points. It also established competition appellate tribunal so that if you have any grievances regarding anti-competitive behavior of any organization, you can complain in this tribunal. But it has been replaced by Modi government with National Companies Law Appellate Tribunal. So now coming to the anti-marketing practices of Google, that is the current issue. Google Play Store has the 90% of all downloads of apps. You and me all download apps from Google Play Store. We do not download from Samsung Galaxy Store or MI Galaxy Store, etc. No, we all download from Play Store. So basically, it has the dominant position. Dominant. It has the virtual monopoly. Virtual monopoly. How? Though Google may face competition from other downloading sites, maybe of Amazon, Samsung, etc. But in actual, it has more or less almost whole share of market. So because of its monopolistic or dominant position, it is exploiting the app developers. How? First manner, if you want to make any payment in Google Play Store for purchasing any app or etc., you can only make through Google Pay app. First thing. You cannot use PhonePe, Bheem, UPI, Paytm, etc. to pay on Google Play Store. So you have to mandatorily install Google Pay and also open account there. Second, because of its dominant position, Google is charging 30% commission for all app and in-app purchase. If you want to purchase a paid app or want to purchase premium services of any app, you have to give 30% commission to Google. And CCI saying it is too high. It is too high. Because Google has just hosted the app. It has not developed the app. It has not done any innovative idea to that app. Still, it is making 30% cut. It is making 30% cut despite no effort done by the Google. It should be ideally like 1 or 2%, 1 to 2%, but it is taking 30% cut. And if app developers raise the fees to offset the Google commission or reduce the subscription, etc., it would affect the user experience, cost, and choice. And thirdly, Google in the Android television market, any company which wants to use its Android operating system for their smart television, it is creating barriers. It is not allowing it to modify it to suit its own requirement. It wants heavy cut here also. Then earlier also Google faced some challenges in India. Like in 2018, CCI fined Google 20 million for search bias. Search bias how? It would show those websites on its search. Suppose you search laptop in Google. It would show Amazon ad first, because Amazon is paying Google for showing laptops. It would not show the HP official site, it would not show Lenovo official site, Dell official site, etc. It would show first Amazon. It would not show Flipkart, it would not show the shop clues, etc. It would only show the Amazon because Amazon is paying for search bias. In 2019, Google has made certain agreements with smartphone manufacturers not to go for any other operating system other than Android. It wants that Android should be default operating system for all the phones sale in India. Then in other countries also, Google is facing antitrust probe. In European Union, anti-competitive behavior, same search bias. In USA also, because of its dominant position, it is abusing for elections, political reasons, or other reasons. So now this is the main answer writing question. Critically comment on the feasibility of regulatory oversight over omnipotent, super powerful, big internet giants. Why omnipotent? Because everybody is using Facebook, Google, etc. nowadays. Everybody is dependent on these companies. Super powerful because Facebook itself has more than 2 billion users. 2 billion users, 200 crores. And they are spread all over the world. So Facebook, any one particular message, if deliberately spread by the Facebook company to all the 2 billion users, then Facebook has the capability to influence that 2 billion people opinion in favor or against of anything. Huge power they enjoy. So even these social media platform owners, they are considering themselves as God, because they are in control of the minds of these 2 billion people. Mind. That is why they are considering themselves as divine God. So it is possible to have any regulatory oversight over these powerful big internet giants who use legal system, who use lobbies, who use corruption, etc. so that their favorable policy is in place in every other country. Is it possible? That you have to write in for mains uncertain question. Now coming to the Armenian Azerbaijan. Here we have discussed why Armenia and Azerbaijan was in dispute, what was the conflict, what is the war, etc. Now coming, Russia has brokered a peace deal between them, and also Armenia has done surrender to Azerbaijan. After 1950s, after World War II, Armenia became the second country in the world to have a surrender to other country, which has been completely defeated by the other country. Any guesses which is the first country to do so, which has done the complete surrender? Yes, let me know in the comment section. After 1950s, after World War II, which was the first country in the world who has done complete surrender by accepting the defeat to the other country? Yes, let me know in the comment section. Till then, I explain the issue to you. So what has happened that Azerbaijan was able to defeat Armenia so crushedly, so brutally? What strategic advantage Azerbaijan has? It was able to do so by the technology name. Any guesses? Drone. Drone. This drone become a new instrument to wage the war in the 21st century. What happens? Azerbaijan, let me give you a brief, I would not go into detail. Azerbaijan ordered very small scale drones from Turkey and Israel. And these are so small, very lightweight, very small. And these do not have any pilot under them. And they are so efficient. So first they have ordered from Turkey and Israel. Second, they were in large quantity. Third, their weapons are so precise that they were able to target. They were able to hit the target with quite precision. Fourth, the payload, or the you can say the weapons or the ammunition they use, they are also quite explosive. वो भी बहुत धमाकेदार थे कि एक ही अटैक में you can have a wide impact. Four things about drone. Now coming to the strategy. What they do, The question may be coming in your mind, why Armenia is not able to defend it? Why Armenia is not able to launch counter strikes to drone? First, their radar system get befooled. How? First, Armenia has launched their old outdated aircrafts, which are quite large size, and radars has detected these large size, old, outdated, worthless, useless aircrafts, and they starting attacking it. And what Azerbaijan do? It then launch the drones, and then it launch the drones and just destroy the radar system. Second, when they launched the radar, these drones, the air defense system of Armenia was meant for large size aircraft attacking. They were meant for attacking the large size aircrafts. These small drones, they were not able to counter attack. Third, if these drones were killing the soldiers of Armenia, and Azerbaijan does not lose any human casualty because of these drones. Fourth, these drones were able to launch strikes on tanks, on armory, on ammunition of Armenia. In a nutshell, these drones were able to completely crush Armenia. And so much resentment in the people of Armenia is there. They have lynched the speaker of Armenian parliament. They have lynched the speaker. So nobody has any guess who has made a complete surrender? Yes, nobody has made a guess. It is Pakistan in 1971 who has made complete surrender to India. You should know it. No, Pakistan, our neighboring country, who has made surrender to us. We were on the winning side. That's why I called you to make a guess. Yeah. Yeah, somebody has disliked the video. We are also getting bigger and we are also getting the opposition. Yeah. So coming to the Russian broken peace deal between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So it basically Russia act as a mediator. It led to end of military conflict over dispute region of Nagorno-Karabakh. We have discussed in the previous class. This agreement signed by the three side presidents, and they will maintain position in the areas that they currently hold. So basically the status quo would be there. What is the status quo? Is it the interest of Romania? No, because Azerbaijan has already occupied many territories of of Nagorno Karabakh, which was previously held by the Armenia. So Azerbaijan basically get 15 to 20% of lost territory. It would be able to recover its 50 to 20% of its lost territory, and all military operations now suspended. There is exchange of refugees and prisoners of wars. So now coming to the role of Russia in this region, see, both were the part of former USSR. First thing. Second, Russian peacekeeper would be deployed on line of contact. Basically, it is like line of control between India and Pakistan. It is similar to that. And Nagorno-Karabakh or Lachin corridor that connects to the region to Armenia. Here also Russian peacekeeper would be held for 5 years. A new corridor, new like roads, etc., would be built between this Nakhichevan and to Azerbaijan. It would be also under Russian control. And Russia also provides arms to both, and in military alliance with Armenia, Collective Security Treaty Organization. And what is this Nagorno-Karabakh? You already know it is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, but some part is controlled by Armenian separatists. Just like Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and so Armenian separatists occupied this region, which called their region as Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast. Okay, and this Armenian government supports this separatist politically and militarily. Okay, but Indira Gandhi lost in no, nothing was happened as such of that Shimla Accord. We have lost it. It is the see in Shimla Accord. which was essentially meant for recognizing the independence of Bangladesh and meant for exchange of prisoners of warfare, where Pakistani soldiers which were captured by Indian side were exchanged with the Indian soldiers which were captured by the Pakistan side. Thirdly, here we were too close to resolve the Kashmir dispute. We can bargain with not Zia, this prime minister name. I forget the name of prime minister. This I think Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was there. Yes. So Indira Gandhi was quite close to settle the issue of Jammu and Kashmir. She can bargain with the Prime Minister of Pakistan, give us the Jammu and Kashmir back to us, or accept line of control as an international border between India and Pakistan. Basically, you keep the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, we keep the Indian administered Kashmir. Once settle it for all. But that does not happen. Why? Because the Prime Minister of Pakistan at that time in Shimla Court just begged before the Indira Gandhi. Beek mangi unhone, just begged before the Indira Gandhi. He said to Indira Gandhi that if you settle Jammu and Kashmir in this accord, Shimla Accord, I am not able to show my face to the people of Pakistan. They would lynch me in the public sphere. They would lynch me in the public chalk or road. So that is why Indira Gandhi said, okay, now I am the winner. I would settle it later. Maybe 2 years after or so, I would settle the Jammu and Kashmir issue also. But that was the blunder of Indira Gandhi. She becomes soft on the enemy. She should not be soft on the enemy. She should have insisted that Jammu and Kashmir should be settled once for all now, because it is the most opportune time for do so. You can't be lenient on your enemies. Yeah, Zulfikar Bhutto. Yes, at that time he was the prime minister. So this becomes the excuse for Zia-ul-Haq, that is the military commander, to stage a military coup in Pakistan and to overthrow this Zulfikar Bhutto. And on the pretext of that, these prime minister has caused us humiliating defeat in India-Pakistan war of 1971 and has led us to lose Bangladesh, West Pakistan to India, or to creation of Bangladesh. That is why I am removing this useless, worthless prime minister, and I would be your new president. Now coming to the second national water awards. This has been launched by Department of Water Resources, River Development, Ganga Rejuvenation of Ministry of Jal Shakti. It is launched in 2007. So first award was given in 2007. Afterwards, now it is being given. That is why it is become important. Winners are given citation, trophy, and cash prize like 1 to 2 lakh rupees. It is being given. It is given for good work by the individual and organization for Jal Samriddh Bharat. That is basically for water conservation efforts. And its purpose is objective is to motivate individual organization for their work in water conservation, to create awareness, and also to adopt best usage practices. And what are the awards given? Tamil Nadu got top award in water conservation efforts. Maharashtra comes second and Rajasthan third. Mizoram get a special award. Aniket Lohia of Manavlok, an NGA from Beat, that is Maharashtra, won the Water Warrior Award. Lost the Sangli district also in Maharashtra won the top prize in river revival category for reviving Angrani river. See, in this national water awards, you would find many awards like best state award, best district award, best panchayat award, best industry who has done commendable efforts in reducing water wastage, best agriculturist award, best taluk award, etc. There are hell number of awards basically, and each and every award is not needed to remember. If you are preparing for state civil service, then you can go through the list. Otherwise, in UPSC, they never ask about who win what kind of award, but this information become important for UPSC. Basically, what is this award all about? Now, there is need of water conservation and management. You all know about general points of water conservation, why it is necessary. But I would just give you insight about one particular aspect of water conservation need. That is, water is being available free plus in huge amount in India. First, it is free. Second, it is available in huge amount. That is why it is being wasted. That is why it is being over exploited. That is why we do not know the value of water. The value of water. That is why. That is why there is depletion of water source. Even by 2030, we can become a water scarcity country, water stress economy. Because we are just using our precious resource of water without knowing the value of it. Now coming to the initiatives by the government, that is important. Water initiatives by the government. Because in mains, you can be specifically asked what are the initiatives, specify these initiatives undertaken by the government in water conservation. That could be one of the sub part of the question. First is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. How? Because it also mandates that the workers of MG Narega could be used for building water harvesting structures in village like ponds, like lakes, like check dams, etc. Then this is Jal Kranti Abhiyan. It meant for block level water conservation schemes. How? Through Jal Gram scheme. What is the Jal Gram scheme? It basically, suppose, see, there are, this is village area and there are 90, suppose there are 90 small villages. Okay, there are 90 villages in a block, in a tahsil, suppose. In a tahsil, there is 90 villages. What it would do, it would not make each and every village to do water conservation. It would select only two villages, like 1 and 2. And it would make these villages role model and inspiring or leadership model for other villages. Like these villages would do water conservation and preservation, and other villages would get inspired and would do the same. Basically, a competitive feeling, an insecurity feeling, a jealousy feeling, or inspiring feeling would be created in other villages. Coming to the next national water mission, and that is becoming quite successful also. This model is becoming quite successful. Villages are starting copying the other village efforts. Coming to the national water mission, and one thing more, why these two villages are selected? Because see, if you are SDM, if you are DC, you cannot go to each and every village to persuade them to do water conservation, because this scheme is community led. Community led means people themselves have to conserve water. The no, it is not like the bureaucrat would come and would save water for on your behalf. No, it is the community who is going to lead, direct, and execute the program. So here district administration would give them training, would persuade them, would give them guidance, direction, etc., so that the community get empowered to manage the water. Like how the river lakes would be managed, river ponds would be managed, river waterworks would be managed, etc., would be done by the villagers themselves. And once the other villages see that these two villages has done water management by community efforts, they would also be inspired to repeat the same, to replicate the same. That is why the objective of Jal Gram scheme is to develop two model villages in every tahsil or block. Okay, and this is becoming quite successful also. It is giving good results. Yes, you can say about realistic targets, and this is also a learning for your preparation also. Make realistic targets of the day. Like do not make the target like I would cover half of the spectrum in one day, half of the Lakshmikant in 2 days. No, make realistic targets. Now coming to the objective of National Water Mission, conservation of water, wastage, equitable distribution. Basically, Rajasthan should also get the plenty of water, just like Punjab has. Or poor may also should also get the plenty of water, just like rich has. An integrated water resource development and management. What does it mean? The lakes, ponds, rainwater, canals, rivers, and groundwater. That is water available above surface, water available on surface, water available below surface. All should be managed, and even one more, wastewater. All should be utilized in unison, in holistic manner, in combined manner, in joint manner. Like wastewater could be used for your toilet purpose, rainwater could be used for gardening, lakes, ponds, canal, etc. water could be used for your bathing activity, for washing utensils, etc. Groundwater could be used for drinking purpose. So in this manner, integrated water resource development and management. You can take the example of Punjab. Punjab is overusing the groundwater. It should use rainwater also. Maharashtra is totally dependent on rainwater. It is not using groundwater or canal water. It also should start using canal water and groundwater. Similarly, Punjab also should reduce the dependence on canal water and groundwater. It should use rainwater. So there should be quite integrated management of water resource. So it would also help in reducing the water conflicts. Water conflicts between Haryana, Punjab, like on Satluj Yamuna link canal, between Kerala and Tamil Nadu on Kaveri River, etc. Rainwater harvesting, that's yes, that is also the part of integrated water resource development and management. Niti Aayog Composite Water Management Index, where it oversees the water management efforts of all the states and UTs, all the districts, etc. And based on that, it gives the ranking. So there should be a competitive feeling among the states and districts so that they can compete with each other regarding who does the water management best. And also government established Jal Shakti ministry, where it is headed by Gajendra Singh Shekhawat of Rajasthan, who has a quite expertise in water conservation efforts. And this Jal Shakti minister has combined various ministries related to water like Ganga Rejuvenation Ministry, the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Water Resource Ministry, etc. All those get merged under single ministry so that issues could be addressed jointly, comprehensively, or in a coordinated manner. And this Jal Jeevan machine aims is to provide piped water to 2024. Why? Because between 2014 to 19, see the Modi government initiatives. It provided people house under PM Awas Yojana. It provided them under toilets under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It provided them LED bulbs under Ujala Yojana. Ujjwala Yojana, it has provided LPG gas. Mudra Yojana, it has provided money for work, and one more Sobhagya scheme, under it provided electricity to all. Then what is left? What is left is water. That is why Jal Jeevan Mission is the flagship program of Modi government 2.0. It wants to provide water to everyone so that it can assure its electoral win in next election. Coming to Atal Bhujal Yojana, center sector scheme, it is meant 100% financed by center. 6,000 crore. Sustainable management of groundwater is basically the purpose. How? People's participation, because there would be water user association who are going to use, they would form a committee named water user association, and they would decide who will use what amount of water. Like for industry, it would be given 100 units, for houses 50 units, agriculture 200 units. In this manner, they themselves would decide who would use what amount of water. Water budgeting would be done by this association. This is basically the water association we have discussed. कि किसको कितना पानी मिलेगा. And gram panchayat wise water security plans also would be devised. Jal Shakti Abhiyan, this is basically the part of Jal Shakti Ministry, and it is campaign for water conservation and water security in country. For example, before monsoon, some tanks, wells, ponds, etc. has been dug up so that the rainwater could be harvested. This is also the part of Jal Shakti Abhiyan. So this is the prelims question for you. It was a little lengthy question topic. To answer it, we will move forward to next topic. Yes, I think both statements are visible to you. Yes, tell me one thing. After answering this question, tell me one thing. So, I do make some modification in the current affairs so that this information become quite concise for you and most importantly precise for you. I remove or edit the unnecessary information and also make it quite structured for you to revise it. Okay, I make it to the point. The information I give you in this slide is to the point so that when you revise, it does not become difficult for you. So now let me know, kindly give your opinion that, give your feedback that they are, are you facing any difficulty in this or not? Give me feedback about this, whether you are getting any difficulty while you read these slides after I shared after my class to you. Are you getting any difficulty or not while reading these concise notes? Please let me know. No, answer is B. Both are not correct. First is wrong because thereafter it is not given annually. Not given annually. See, first time given in 2007. After it's in this year it is been given for the second time. And second statement is correct. So kindly be elaborative. No, okay, I do not get it. Whether do you face any difficulty or not? Please let us know. Because I tried my best that while you read these notes, you don't face any difficulty. But still, if you get difficulty, please let me know. Okay. Now coming to the regulations on over-the-top platforms and digital content. See, basically, government said we would come with the platforms to come with a self-regulatory body. Let me tell you something. See, what is this over-the-top platforms and digital content? Over-the-top platforms are like Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, etc. And you may have seen that on movies, web shows, etc., being telecast on these over-the-top platforms, they sometimes have quite abusive language, strong language. You must have seen this Mirzapur series. You know that how verbally abusing dialogues has been used in this series. And sometimes they show content which is sexually explicit and sometimes little bit pornographic or something, sometimes matter which may hurt religious sentiments or may promote terrorist or left-wing extremist agenda, etc. So, and these oddities does not face any kind of regulation. But electronic media, the films, movies, TV programs, news media, print media, all face huge regulations. So they have kind of competitive advantage in terms of freedom they enjoyed from government regulations. So that is why they are able to make certain movies which are appealing to the masses, and movie makers they are facing huge losses. They cannot make such kind of web series or TV shows or movies, etc., with strong abusive language or sexually explicit content, etc. So that is why they are facing losses. They are facing loss of viewership from movies to these platforms. Okay, so now government says we would bring this OTT platforms under Ministry of IT. Ministry of IT. Before going to current order, this new order that it would come under Ministry of Information Technology, I would let you know what happened before. What happened before? Before in past. Yeah, like in Mastram, and you have seen this kind of movie. You should not see this kind of Mastram kind of movie. You should face some educational movies. Like you can see this Ottoman web series that is also quite fair. Harshad Mehta, you can see, you would learn about stock markets from these series. So see, flowchart and all, it takes huge time actually. This making notes, these concise notes itself take 8 to 10 hours of mine. So if I start making flowcharts and all, it would take 3 days of mine. Okay, so that is why it is not included. But these flowcharts I do make on this space I got whenever I, while teaching by use of digital pen and tablet, I make these kind of flowcharts and all to make you understand the concept. Not facing, okay, okay, this is fine, okay, fine. So now government said, okay, come with a self-regulatory body. It has asked these OTT platforms that come out with self-regulatory body, otherwise I will regulate you. In January 2019, Internet and Mobile Association of India comes with a self-regulatory code that we would regulate ourselves. We would not telecast any kind of content which is prohibited. And it gives 5 times of contents which would not be shown in these platforms. That disrespect national emblem or national flag, promotes child pornography, outrage religious sentiments, encourage terrorism, or any content banned by law and court. And they have established digital curated content complaint council so that any consumer who has any kind of complaint regarding the content being shown on this platform, they can file the complaint and get the redressal. So now current order is over the top platforms, digital video streaming service providers, a sector would come under Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and also it gives the government control over digital online media. Basically the film and audio visual programs, any kind of programs, be it on Alt Balaji, Geo Cinema sector would come under this, and also news of and current affairs content would also come under this. So Unacademy, Byju's, UPSC guide, all would come under the government control. Now, what is the reasons? First, government refused to support the code of digital content providers. Why? Because government says you have not defined properly your code of ethics. It is vague. It is ambiguous. You do not have clearly specified prohibited content. And we still receiving complaints from the public that this is harming my sentiments, this is harming feelings, or this may be promoting that particular propaganda, etc. And you do not, you are absolutely unregulated. You do come under Information Technology Act, that is true, but you are not come under any kind of autonomous body. See, we have discussed in previous class, News Broadcaster Association of India do regulate news, Press Council of India, the Advertisement Standard Council of India, etc. These regulate the various electronic and print agencies. But OTT platforms are not regulated by any kind of body. Even Supreme Court, there are various petitions being filed in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has issued notice to center that whether we should regulate OTT or not. See, kindly be careful. Here, Supreme Court has not given any kind of order, not given any kind of order. It just has issued notice to center to seek its reply or viewpoint on regulation of OTT platforms. So center is saying we are receiving petitions in Supreme Courts also, so it is better to regulate it now. And I have already told you about that viewership has been transferring from traditional media platform to digital media because of lack of regulation. And there is real need that we need to have a oversight framework. But government has not decided the details of regulation. So there is possibility that Program Code of Cable Television Network Regulation Act 1995 that governs content on TV may serve as template to frame rules for online content. Basically, it would act as a uh, inspiring, or you can say model framework for framing the rules. So similar rules that is applicable on TV would be applicable on digital platforms. Okay, so do you think this OTT platform should be regulated, or they should be continuance of freedom they are enjoying? Yes, yes, you can also this special ops. Yes, you this kind of series you should watch because this would be helpful in your exam preparation also. Because learnings you can take from these web series or movies, and you can use that information also in your papers. In essay, in GS paper, you can write the points you learn from these movies and web series. So now coming to the next scheme, PLI scheme. So what is this PLI scheme? We have little bit discussed in previous class also, but in this we would discuss because government has made certain changes in it. That is why it is this scheme need to be discussed again. This is basically production linked incentive scheme. We have discussed that it is meant for medical devices, phones, and active pharmaceutical ingredients. Active pharmaceutical ingredients are basically the key chemical which is used in manufacturing of drug. In this scheme, government has provided 50,000 crore approx. Why? Because it gives, see, any medical device, mobile phone, or API, if it is manufactured in India and also gets sold in India, manufactured plus sold in India, then that product would get 4 to 6% subsidy from government, incentive from government. Why? Because government has made a calculation that we are a developing country. Our infrastructure is not developed. We are not able to provide 24 by 7 electricity to our industries. We are not able to provide 6-lane highways to industry. We are not able to provide efficient rail service to industry, efficient port service to industry, etc. That is why our industry is facing 10 to 13% cost disadvantage. Cost disadvantage. Suppose if the mobile is manufactured in India at rupees 8,000, because of efficient service of rail, road, ports, etc. in China, the same phone can be manufactured in China at rupees 7,000. So the China would able to sold in India and in other countries at rupees 7,000, and Indian manufacturer would not able to compete with Chinese counterparts. That is why government says I cannot compensate fully this 10 to 13% loss of yours because of lack of governance from my side. I would compensate by 4 to 6%. This is what was basically the PLI scheme. Yes, Jyoti, you can say logistic cost was high in India. This MX player is spreading erotism. So yeah, there should be complete halt. See, in the previous comment, one of one among you has said that there should not be complete ban on crackers. So here also there should not be complete ban, but we need a some sort of regulation. Like if there is adult content, then there should be proper verification mechanism that only adults see that erotic content, and also there should be limit on the amount of watch time you would have on these platforms. Like you cannot see these kind of erotic material for whole night. Okay. Thirdly, there should be growing awareness program regarding we ourselves restrict our senses in a fruitful manner. Like I have told you about the concept of Gita, that is basic sar of Gita, basic crux of Gita, where we need to regulate our senses to fruitful manner. So that awareness program also need to be generated to regulate these kind of erotic content. And now these OTT platform helps in tax avoidance. Yes. Why these are no named as over the top? See, this is consumer. This is Geo. It is providing the platform. Platform of what? Telecom service that you can able to use 4G internet. This is the platform. And on this 4G, by using this 4G platform, Amazon, Netflix, MX Player, Alt Balaji, Geo Cinema, etc. all are providing their services on this platform. That is why it is known as over the top platform providers. Because of Jio's or Airtel's or Vodafone Idea's 4G service, these platforms were able to provide services to consumers. That is why known as over the top platforms. Okay. And in this PLI schemes, if foreign companies set up units in India, for example, Samsung has set up unit in Noida for manufacturing of mobiles. So this Samsung would also be eligible to get this 4 to 6% incentive. Now, what is the change has been made by cabinet regarding this scheme? It has approved production linked incentive scheme in 10 more sectors. That is food processing, telecom, electronics, textiles, specialty steels, automobiles and auto components, solar photovoltaic modules, white goods, that is AC, fridge, refrigerator, RO, etc. This is white goods. Basically, why they are called as white goods? Because they are white in color mostly, and these are products of comfort. Like AC gives you comfort, refrigerator gives you comfort, heater would give you comfort, fan would give you comfort. That is why they are known as white goods and LEDs. These 10 sectors has been included under this scheme, and this would be operational for 5 years, and government has allocated 1.545 lakh crore, and this would be implemented by concerned ministry. It means there is no one particular fixed ministry for its implementation. So ministry of, suppose, heavy industry would implement specialty steel component, textile industry would be implemented by Ministry of Textiles, electronics industry would be implemented by Ministry of Electronics, etc. In this manner, this scheme would be implemented. And more pharmaceutical products added under this PLI scheme, that is anti-cancer, complex generics, diabetic drugs, etc. These factual data is available with you. I think I do not need to explain. So basically, what is the benefits? That is very general points are here, like investment in the core competency. See, you should understand this concept. We are always said we are not a manufacturing country. It is always said we are not a manufacturing country. We are lagging behind China in manufacturing. But that is partially true. In some sectors, we are the global factory. We are the global factory. For example, in pharmaceutical, we are the one of the largest exporter of pharma products. Similarly, we are the global hub of automobile sector. You see, Maruti manufacture its car here, Hyundai manufacture its car here, Honda manufacture cars here, Tata manufacture cars here, Mahindra manufacture here, Toyota manufacture here. So we are also the one of the global hub of automobile sector. Similarly, textiles, we have huge expertise. But there are certain other sectors which we have the huge potential, like telecom. We can manufacture telecom equipments here. We can process food here because we are a food surplus country. We can manufacture electronics here. So basically, two sectors are chosen here. One which are already our core strength, and second which has the potential of becoming our core strength. So basically, investment in this area of core competency, we would able to reap maximum benefits. Because more than 1 crore people are engaged in automobile sector. More than 5 crore people are engaged in textile sector. So these are huge employment generating sectors of our country. So if we invest more in this sector, we would be able to generate more employment, more value addition, more exports, more production, more income, etc. And foreign competition would be invited because foreign companies are also eligible for these benefits. So greater the competition, greater the efficiency, greater the quality of product. Take the example of Bajaj. Bajaj scooters before 1980s, you have to stand in queue. You have to stand in queue for months to get a Bajaj scooter. But now you can get the Plage, Platina, Pulsar, etc. bike in no time, and also its technology gets improved a lot, its customer service get improved, its financing of products gets improved. So that is why competition with foreigners is quite welcome. Then there is exports would be increased, jobs would be increased, India would be manufacturing hub, etc. That is why the general point I would not explain it. This concept I would explain to you, economies of scale. What is this concept? See, this is if in your family there is house construction in last 10 years, you may able to understand this concept very easily. How? Let me tell you. Suppose this is Nathura. He has decided to build a house. This is the ground floor he built. Then he built a first floor. Then he built a second floor. And finally on fourth floor he has kept it as terrace. Okay. When he built the first floor, he has to use like he has to dig up the foundation, fill the foundation, then go for the RCC structure, then lenter, etc. Here its cost was 10 lakh. When he built second floor, he found only 5 lakh were spent. When he built the third floor, he found only 2.5 lakh were spent. So basically, by increasing the number of floors, its per unit cost of production is reducing. See, if we suppose if we have built only ground floor, then his per unit cost of production is 10 lakh. Suppose if we have built only two floors, then 10 plus 5 divided by 2, that is 7.5 lakh average is the cost of production for building one floor. If we had built three floors, that is 10 plus 5 plus 2.5, it is around 5.75 something. So per unit cost of production of one floor get reduced by 2 point something lakh. This is basically the economies of scale. What does it mean? If you increase the production, your per unit cost would decrease. Your per unit cost would decrease. The Lays, the Kurkures, the Coca-Cola, the Alpenliebe toffees, the jugs, the bottles, etc. They are produced in lakhs of tons of quantity, and they are producing in such a large quantity that their per unit cost decreases. How? Because fixed cost get decreases. They do not need to hire one more building. They do not need to hire one more supervisor. They do not need to hire one more machinery, etc. From the same production facility, they are able to generate more products. So more products, so their cost get decreased. So if we are giving incentives to them to grow and expand, our cost of production would get decreased, our manufacturing become competitive. And it has given incentive for telecom infrastructure development, so our telecom infrastructure would get secure. We would not need to dependent on China for supply of telecom and marketing products. It would also help in doubling farmer income because food industry is part of it. So it would give better price for farmers and reduce the wastage. And digital economy would get pushed because of electronics, components, etc. So we can achieve the target of 1 trillion digital economy by 2025. And India would be self-reliant in integral part of global supply chain. This is the prelims question, little bit lengthy topic it got. Only few topics are left, one or two I think. We would able to cover it by within next 10 minutes. Yes, you are right, minimum cost per unit of production. Sir, please explain gig economy. Yeah. See, there is no gig company time limiting app. Uh, what do you mean by a viral time limiting app? This is the reason China is becoming my minting hub because of their bull production. Yes, absolutely right. Because of this bull production, they are able to produce their products at very low cost. That is why Chinese products are always affordable, always cheap, because they produce in such a large quantity that their per unit cost get decreased to highly low level. So let me explain you what is gig economy. See, gig economy is like based on contract. Okay, you do not give any full year employment, you do not give the person any kind of uh, uh, like a whole life employment, etc. You just give a person a work. If you don't understand, let me give you the example of this. Amir Khan, okay, he has been offered a movie named, suppose, Thugs of Hindustan by Yash Raj Production. Okay. And Yash Raj Production said, we would give you 40 crore rupees for this movie. Amir Khan do this movie in 1 year. Okay. He received the 40 crore out of doing this movie. For doing this movie, he got 40 crore. But what next? Suppose Thugs of Hindustan get failed in box office. Then what next? Amir Khan may not get any other movie. Suppose. So now you may be thinking that Amir Khan per annum income is 40 crore. But if the movie get flopped, then Amir Khan does not have any work. then what will do? He may not have work for next 2 years. He may not have any work for next 2 years. So per annum income of Amir Khan become only 13 crore. This is basically is the gig economy, based on contract, based on work. You complete the work, you get the money. You can take the example of other examples like uh, like auto rickshaw pullers. You gave them work of taking you from one place to another. For it you would give him 50 rupees. But if he does not get work for next 3 hours, so his productive time is lost. This is what is gig economy. And the organization which give these kind of works to its workers, it is known as gig company. Okay, so all of you are answering C? No, answer is A. It is not C. Why? Because it gives incentives to foreign companies also who are manufacturing in India. Only word is there. These words always make the statement incorrect. All, every, all, every, only, etc. These words makes the statement wrong. Now coming to the one more, wage laborers. You can call it. You can call it. They are also part of the gig economy. Gig economy is basically the informal economy because you do not get any job security, wage security, pension insurance. No, you do not get anything. So that is why you are the part of informal economy. Even these trollers who get paid by number of dislikes you make on a video, number of hate tweets you make on a platform like Facebook, Twitter, etc. They are paid by per like dislike basis, per like basis, per hate comment basis, etc. They are also the part of gig economy. I think the concept is clear to you. So now coming to the public partnership in infrastructure. So before telling you about this topic, let me tell you first about what is economic infrastructure. It is basically all those facilities which helps in production and distribution. See, basically you establish a factory. Okay, you install a machine here, and this machine start delivering you products. But you cannot get high level of profits unless and until there are some support mechanism to support your to aid your factory. What kind of support factors? Like you need a better road so that raw material could come in easily. You need a better rail service so that you can sell your products to all over the country. You need go to port mechanism so that you can sell your products to all the countries in the world. So these kind of, you need good Wi-Fi system, you need good telecom service so that you can deal with your suppliers, customers, etc. You need banking system so that you could be provided money to run your factory. So this support mechanism is known as economic infrastructure, which helps in your production of goods, and also distribution means simply meaning selling of goods. In production and selling of your goods, which helps, it is known as economic infrastructure. Like energy, you need 24 hour electricity, transportation, financial institution, etc. The social infrastructure is which helps you in getting quality labor. All those factors, institution, facilities which helps you in getting quality labor comes under social infrastructure. Economic infrastructure helps you to get quality product manufacturing, and this helps you in getting quality labor, which we sometimes call it human capital also. So the quality labor, how we would get? Educational institution. IIT prepares engineers for you so that for in your factory engineers could work. Hospitals, in case this engineer get fell ill, the doctors can cure him and the worker could come back to the factory within few days. Nursing homes, housing facilities, etc. These two concepts you understand. Now come to the scheme of financial support to PPP in infrastructure. Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance introduced this in 2006. Third concept you need to understand is viability gap funding. What is this viability gap funding? Suppose you want to uh, you want to build a road between suppose Patiala and Chandigarh. You make a calculation that this road would cost you 10 lakh rupees. Okay, 1 crore rupees, little bit higher amount would take 1 crore rupees. And this road construction would take 6 years. After that, you would recover this 1 crore rupees by charging rupees 30 as toll. And you make a calculation that around 10,000 vehicles would pass by between Patiala and Chandigarh in 1 year. So in 1 year, how much investment you would able to recover? 3 lakhs. For 6 years, you would invest 1 crore. On this, you would not earn any single penny for 6 years because road is still being constructed. Second, you have to give interest on this 1 crore to banks from which you have borrowed. And after 6 years, you would get 3 lakhs rupees per annum as return. So in next 30 years, you would earn only 90 lakhs. So you would think that it would be foolish on my part to invest in this road because in next 30 years I'm not able to recover my original investment. Forget the interest I paid to the bank. For this, what government do? Government said suppose I would give you 60 lakhs. Now in 30 years you would able to recover 1.5 crore. And you make a calculation that to the bank I have to give interest of 20 lakhs. So 30 lakhs profit I am going to make from this project. This 30 lakhs, 60 lakhs support by the government is known as viability gap funding. This road is economically desirable because it would help the economy, but commercially unfeasible because it is going to give losses to the builder of this road. So to reduce these losses or to make this project commercially viable, government provides this viability gap funding. It does not provide whole amount of road construction money to the builder. No, it just provides this 60 lakhs so that the project become profitable, so that investor is incentivized to invest in this project. So that is why less up to 40% of the total project cost would be provided by Government of India as capital grant for what? Economic infrastructure. If you want to build roads, ports, thermal plants, etc., you would get the viability gap funding by the Government of India. Because these have large capital environment like 1 crore we have discussed. Capital means money, simply money. Gestation period means a baby need 9 months to get converted from embryo to fetus to a baby to the final infant, you can say. It takes 9 months. Similarly, a road need to be constructed from scratch to properly build up road. It takes suppose 6 years. This 6 years is known as gestation period. This 9 months is in medical science is known as gestation period. Similarly, to construct any infrastructure project, the time taken to build any infrastructure project is known as gestation period. This gestation period is quite high, and you cannot charge high user charges on these infrastructure projects because otherwise people may resent the idea of private participation in building infrastructure. Now, what is the changes has been made? Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs says we would continue and revamp the viability gap funding scheme. First is continue. Economic infrastructure part is continued. Revamp how? Because it now would be extended to social infrastructure. For this, 8100 crore rupees has been allocated, and this would be continued till 2024-2025. In this social structure extension, there are two schemes. One is sub scheme 1 for wastewater treatment, water supply, solid waste management. Health and education is not there. Health is not there. Here, capital costs would be there. Why sport is given? Because they face bankability issue. What does it mean? They are not able to get money from banks. In the road construction, you can get the money from banks. But for water supply, solid waste management, waste water treatment, etc., you do not get the loan from banks to build these projects easily because they have poor revenue streams. Bank would ask, how would you recover the money from uh, how would you get back your money from the consumers? You cannot charge high amount of charges from for water supply to consumers. You cannot charge high amount of charges for solid waste collection and disposal, etc. How would you earn profits and how would you return my money? So that is why they have the bankability issue. So the projects that would be here, you need to understand two more concepts also. First is fixed cost. Second is variable cost. Fixed cost. For example, you build a water supply project. You purchase the land. You purchase machines to treat the water, to make it clean. Okay, this is your fixed cost. This is one-time investment. You would not make investment in land every year. You do not make investment in machine every year. No, this is one-time investment. That is why it is known as fixed cost. Second is variable cost. You need employees to run this water supply. You need electricity to run the machines, and this bill would come every month. Employees wages would come every month. So this is your variable cost. Variable cost is also known by the name of operational cost. It is other name is variable cost is operational cost. So those projects who can recover at least the employees wages, electricity bills, municipality tax, etc., they would be eligible under this scheme. For this, government would provide 30% of total project cost. Total project cost includes fixed cost and variable cost. Both includes in total project cost. So up to 30% would be provided by central government, up to 30% would be provided by state government. Rest would be provided by the private sector. Okay, so basically in fixed cost, it would get the 30% relief. Second is health and education sector, where eligibility is 50% operational cost recovery, because on health you cannot charge exorbitant amount of fees from patients. On education you cannot charge high school fees or college fees. That is why if you are able to recover at least 50% of your operational cost, you can eligible for this, and you would get contribution from central government up to 80%. That is 40% from central government and 40% from state government. For what? Capital expenditure. Capital expenditure means fixed cost. Fixed cost. Capital expenditure here means fixed cost. And operation and maintenance cost, basically the variable cost, you would get up to 50%. That is 25% from central government and 25% from state government. So what is the benefits? Very general points. Social economic infrastructure would get developed. These projects would become commercially viable. There would be creation of assets and there would be proper operation and maintenance. This is the prelims question for you. This is the last topic. I think next topic we would do in the next class. Okay. So answer it, and afterwards we would end the session. Yes, working cost you can say, Aviral. Yes, answer it fast. I know your mind get fatigued as of now. A. You are answering A. Only one answer has come. Answer it fast. A. No, answer is D. It is Ministry of Finance, not Commerce. And second is, it is given to both economic and social infrastructure. All of you got wrong. Have answer is D. Okay. So yeah, that's all for today. I wish you all very happy Diwali and happy learning to all of you. Stay motivated and all the best.